Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Pure Fiction has just reset, so of course we have to go ahead and give it a shot now. Unfortunately, we were not able to pick up an Asheville, but we do have our Remembrance team, although we will just be taking the speed buff because I don't think anything else here really helps us. I don't think our attacks in here count as follow-up damage, and of course we won't be taking the dot buff, but we do have our new premium dot team on the second half, and we will actually be taking the dot buff for this. So yeah, those are going to be our teams. All characters here are E0S0, full character builds will be at the end as always, but with that being said, let's just hop right into the runs. Alright then, and here we are on the first half with our Elation team up against Argenti. Now I will say, normally when Argenti is in Pure Fiction, I always hate it because I just do not like his little personal summons, if I'm being honest. One thing I should warn is that I am abroad on holiday, so we are once again laptop gaming. So if you see any lag and stuff like that, then you know why. So yeah, unfortunately we are stuck on the laptop for the next 2-ish weeks. Then we'll go back to the PC, so you don't have much lag. Although to be fair, Pure Fiction does sometimes. To be fair, this laptop can run like Cyberpunk, Resident Evil, Baldur's Gate, but it can't run Pure Fiction in HSR. Well, it can run Pure Fiction in HSR. It's just the frames get ever so slightly choppy, which is I think that says something about HSR. To be honest, I feel like Pure Fiction, just when there's so much going on, sometimes likes to get a bit buggy. But anyway, that's besides the point, and also just my personal experiences. So, you know, don't want to speak for everyone. One thing I did notice is we did not get our Yaoguang ultimate. I'm guessing we normally get it because we get hit in MOC near the beginning by like one of the big bad enemies, but this time we kind of didn't get hit by anything. Maybe it's because of the speed buff we picked, so we actually didn't get hit by enemies, so we actually don't get our Yaoguang turn for the our Yaoguang ultimate for the first turn, which is unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world if you ask me. Go ahead and just take out some of these more enemies over here. Okay, perfect. Go ahead and take out the Danny Boy as well. Okay, true things with it. We've basically finished the first half as well. Still no Yaoguang ult for us until now. We're just gonna go ahead and pop that straight away. We have quite a bit of punchline generated as well. I think Yaoguang should take out the first wave, which means we'll be able to save SPARXIE+'s one for the second wave, which is lovely. Let's see. Yep, all these things exploding here. And now SPARXIE will go ahead and nuke the second wave. Isn't that beautiful? For, was that 2.2 million damage? Looks like it. 14% off the boss's max HP. We'll definitely go ahead and take that. Go ahead and skill our SPARXIE again so that we can generate even more punchline. Very, very fun. It seems like we're getting a lot of points here into our skills, so we love that. Even more punchline for that. Who doesn't love a bit of that? Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and wait until the next aha instant. Not much we can do about that. I can already see something unfortunate happening with the fact that our aha instant is right at the beginning of the cycle instead of right at the end of the cycle. I feel like that's going to come back to bite us in the butt, but this team is strong enough that we should be able to get at least 30k without any issues. Go ahead and use our skill on our Yaoguang as well. Now we can go ahead and ult, get a bunch of skill points back, and prepare to generate another insane amount of punchline. I will say this, like, I've still barely played the SPARXIE team. I just haven't been doing much HSR. You know, I've not been doing stuff like Simulated Universe. Or well, Divergent Universe is what I stick to. I've never done currency walls. Also, if you want to see our stats real quick in battle, it's 100 crit, 350 crit damage. These are all of the buffs that we have up right now. And then for our Yaoguang, 100% crit rate, 227 crit damage. No, oh, we actually have nearly 200 speed. Maybe I should have speed tuned based off of the buffs. Same for our Sparkle as well. So whoopsies, but it's fine. You live and you learn. Go ahead and pop our ultimate on our SPARXIE. 1 mil there, but it will not help us clear the wave. Only 7% HP left here. Is there anything we can do? Well, I don't think we're gonna need our aha instant on our SPARXIE. And oh, actually, look at that. It is ahead of the end of the action. That's curious. Not gonna question it. That's one thing for sure. Go ahead and basic on our Yaoguang because there's no point in skilling right now. We won't have max SP points on our SPARXIE, which is unlucky, but maybe if we get some good RNG here. Okay, we got some okay one. Okay, it wasn't great RNG. There's definitely better RNG we could have gotten, but it's fine, it's fine. Okay, now we are on Argenti and we have a whole AHA instant as well as 2 cycles to spare. So we'll definitely go ahead and take that. Okay, Yaoguang 488k, very nice. And then SPARXIE 1 mil, 1.4 mil, we'll take it, nearly 1.5 mil. I need to remember that I don't need to keep doing the math myself because it tells us at the end, which is perfect for dummies such as myself. Okay, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna action forward our SPARXIE. We're gonna go ahead and pop the Sparkle ult as well. Max out our skill, try generate a bit more punchline, and then we'll use the Yaoguang ultimate, and then we will have the AHA instant. I think that's the optimal way to do this. I might be mistaken. I'm definitely no expert in elation, so you guys can let me know. And let's see how much damage we end up doing in the end. Is this slightly less or slightly more than before? Okay, slightly less than before, 1.4 mil instead of 1.5 mil. Although the next one should be a decent bit of damage, I believe, especially because we're gonna okay, never mind, we don't get a SPARXIE 10. I don't know why I thought we got a SPARXIE 10. Okay, these guys are getting a barrier, which is annoying. I'm gonna go ahead and use our Heng ultimate to get rid of that barrier, so we can go ahead and do max damage. Oh, we also entered the grid state. Isn't that lovely? I didn't read what this one does, so whoopsies, my bad. Let's see how much we do here. Okay, we're doing more damage this time around, and we hit for 2.1, nearly 2.2 million. We'll definitely go ahead and take that. That is pretty damn huge, nearly at 30k as well, so we should get at least 30k, although it doesn't seem like we're gonna go for 40k. We do need to refresh our skill here on our Yaoguang. I nearly didn't. I nearly looked past that. Go ahead and use our ultimate as well. Deals a little bit of extra damage as well. Gives us some extra punchline as well. Never gonna complain about that. Okay. It looks like we're getting some pretty good skill point generation. Ooh, that is some very good skill point generation there from our SPARXIE skill. We'll take that. An extra 1.3 mil as well. Isn't that lovely? A bit of extra damage from this as well. And we're basically at 30k already. You know, I like the way that this is going. Will we be able to get 40k? Let us see. Just go ahead and break that weakness. I doubt it will make much of a difference, but oh well. We can SPARXIE. We have Sparkle ult as well, which is nice for us. Okay, Yaoguang, how much are we doing? Nothing, because the barrier is up. That is an unfortunate damage loss because SPARXIE herself just did 1.4 mil. So we lost out on about 700k damage there, but there was no way we could have broken it. We didn't have our Heng ult. Maybe I should have held on to our Heng stuff a bit better. Actually, I'm not sure if it even would have come up in time. But anyway, that is besides the point. Now, unfortunately, our AHA instant is at the end of the cycle, so I did kind of call it, but Yaoguang will go beforehand at least, which is nice, so we will be able to use her ultimate to take advantage of the punchline we have generated here. And okay, that's fine. And oh wait, no, I think we lost the speed buff from the grid state, so now we don't get to use our ultimates. That's really unfortunate because we could have action forwarded SPARXIE, generated more punchline, did a bit of extra damage, then used our Yaoguang ultimate, but oh well. I guess it's just time for the second half with our dot team. Now, I do kind of wish that we did have a Heng PT for both sides, but oh well, it's fine. Hyacine will get the job done here. She is a very, very comfortable sustainer, and honestly, in Pure Fiction, we are barely going to need to use her stuff. Maybe we could have went sustainless here, but honestly, I just find sustainless to be a bit finicky and annoying. It would be cool if, you know, someone like Jiao could work as a healer whilst also having slight use in dot, as well as debuffing, you know, would be cool, but oh well. Anyway, go ahead and just go ahead and do our rotations here. Actually wait, I need to remember. It's been a while since I've read Hysilens' abilities. I always forget what they do. I don't remember if my technique gives me the zone from my skill or my ult. It says talent. I don't remember which one that's linked to. Well, I'm gonna assume ultimate because skilling didn't refresh the bars there, so yeah, someone's gonna need to remind me about that. I feel like there's always one stupid question I ask whenever I do these runs, but anyway, go ahead and pop our Kafka ultimate as well. Kafka ult in Pure Fiction is always just so fun and satisfying to use. Absolutely just deletes the entire wave as well as the collective HP, which is just absolutely lovely. We love to see that. go ahead and nuke some more enemies with Kafka's follow-up attacks. I'm just glad that Kafka got so much love, to be honest, and that the dot team did as well. Now we just need to wait to see how great the Blade SP is. Now, one thing I do actually want to do is I want to run the current Memory of Chaos again, because we did get E1 Blade, and I did say if I had an E1 Blade, I would go ahead and try Lygus with him. So I need to go ahead and stick to my word and do a Lygus run, which will be fun. I just hope that Blade doesn't get made obsolete by the SP Blade. It would be really nice if they work together. What's better than one blade, two blades? But at the same time, I'm not sure that's gonna happen. So yeah, he's probably gonna, I don't know, I feel like Blade SP, maybe, I mean, an Elation, say, Sustainer would maybe make sense for someone like Silverwolf, you know, have both the Stellaron Hunters on the same team. Or maybe it looks like follow-up attack is going to be the second team archetype in version 4. So maybe he'll synergize more of Ashvale. I mean, Ashvale and Blade on the same team. That would be very fun, to say the least. You know, it's like looking at Hysilens, Kafka, and Black Swan in the dot team. That would be the same as looking at Ashvale and Blade in the same team as well. A decent bit of eye candy. Let's go ahead and say that. I completely lost my trail of thought there. Sorry, I was thinking too much about Blade and Ashvale. But yeah, I was gonna say, you know, it's kind of like how the two archetypes in version 4, of course, in version 3, of course there were more, but it seemed a lot like a lot of Remembrance and a lot of HP stuff, because, you know, you also had, like, Blade getting his Nova Flare buffs, decent, strong HP attacker. Jingli becomes HP scaling, Mighty HP scaler, stuff like that. You know, of course he did have Hysilens buffing HP, Hysilens buffing Dot, Saridra. You know, Final was kind of the exception to version 3 units, because he neither had Memo Sprites nor was he HP scaling. Aglaya was very much obviously a follow-up attack, even though she didn't fit into the HP. So, you know, although a lot of the Remembrance units also had HP scaling, you know, it wasn't only HP scalers. So yeah, if I were to describe version 2 meta, version 3 meta, not version 2, version 2 was like break and follow-up. Version 3 was, let's say, Remembrance as well as HP, and it looks like version 4 might end up being Elation plus follow-up again, which will be interesting to see how that works. Like I said, I just hope that Blade fits well into either one of those archetypes, and then whichever one he does, we know that's the one I'm investing into. Even though I've invested heavily into Elation of SPARXIE and Yaoguang, they technically didn't cost me too much, so, you know, I don't mind pivoting over to whatever Blade is best for. Perfect world scenario would be I go ahead and get a Silverwolf SP, get a Blade, the team is Silverwolf, SPARXIE, Yaoguang, Blade. That would work out perfectly for me. But if it isn't, like I said, I will adapt, because I will do anything to make my Blade work. Although it does have to be E0S0, because like I said, on this account, we only pull E0S0. Anyway, we have basically finished the second wafer, and yes, we have. Go ahead and have some of our dot stuff transfer over to this final wave. But do I want to ult on Kafka straight away, or do I want... yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to wait a second to ult on our Kafka. Now we're going to go ahead and ult on her. This means our follow-up attack will be with Black Swan after she applies a bit more dot. So our follow-up attack should do a little bit more damage than it otherwise would, because, you know, there will be more to detonate, like so. So, I think that was optimal. Not sure. Then again, I don't think that optimization made a huge deal of difference. If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm just trying to min-max and make myself feel smart, to be honest. Anyway, go ahead and skill here and go for the ult again. Yeah, I'd say we have like not 1.5 cycle. We have a little bit left in this cycle and then one more. This one's actually going a bit slower than I expected, if I'm being entirely honest. I expect to be on 60k already by the time that these cycles flip. We should get 60 once our Kafka's turn is over. Maybe, I doubt it will require a Hysilens' turn as well. Although if it does, that would be a bit... Actually, no, we don't even get our ultimate on our Kafka, so we will actually need to go ahead and wait here. Okay, now my prediction is that this will be 60k. Let's see, am I correct? No, because only one unit died. Well, at least we get to refresh all of our stuff here with Hysilens, and her ult is a decent nuke. So this should be 60k? Maybe? Let's see. No? Okay, we're actually kind of struggling here slightly to get 60k. I don't doubt that we'll get it, although it's just I wasn't expecting it to take this long. I was thinking we'd maybe clear with about 70k, which is interesting to see. You know, I was expecting 35k from both our Elation and Dot team. I don't know. I didn't check HP inflation for this Pure Fiction. I also, you know, there's definitely optimizations I can make in both the Elation team. You know, some speed tuning stuff there. Also, some optimizations I can make with our Dot team. For example, our Black Swan isn't on the Revelry set, stuff like that. So yeah, well, I mean, we did hit the 60k at least, and we do have a half rotation to spare, I would say. So, you know, not the worst. I just expected slightly better, maybe, but it is fine. It's not the end of the world. We have enough follow-up attack here with our Kafka, so this should give us one more ultimate, like so. What we're gonna do is just go ahead and build up a little bit more dot on our enemies here. And now we will ult with our Kafka for the grand finale, and we end off on a score of 62k, which, you know, we'll take. I will say there wasn't as much chilling for dot, or, you know, there was a dot buff, but, you know, that wasn't, especially Elation chilling. I expected a bit more, but you know what, there wasn't. We didn't score instant. We scored 31k on both sides, so, you know, could be worse. But yeah, I'll take it. Actually kind of refreshing to see that the brand new flagship team did not get Giga Shield. But yeah, anyway, I will go ahead and give some more final thoughts as well as our character builds in a second. Well, then we did manage to get our 60k, and you know, I will say I was expecting it to be a bit more comfortable because of course the brand new Black Swan is very strong. The Sparkle buffs and SPARXIE herself are quite strong as well, and they tend to be pretty decent Pure Fiction teams. Although surprisingly enough for me, there was basically no shilling for them outside of a buff that is very helpful for Dot, as well as, I mean, Speed Boost is nice for our first team, but it's not like incredible, especially because I didn't actually tune my teams to meet any big speed thresholds despite the speed increase, so I actually didn't take that much advantage of it. But I mean, still, 60k is 60k, we'll go ahead and take it. You know, actually surprising, especially that there wasn't much Elation shield, to be honest. The team only came out last version, but there wasn't much shilling for it, which you know, I decently like, but at the same time, it's all... Actually, no, I'd say I quite like it, you know. Of course, Asriel's gonna get shilled, the newest character's always gonna get shilled. I'm just surprised that they didn't shield the flagship team of the brand new version, but you know what, I like it. It makes it so that, you know, there's only one kind of DPS-y character for Elation out right now, and if you didn't pull for him, then no worries, you don't need him. So yeah, actually that was quite interesting, so I'm actually not gonna complain. I'm just happy we managed to get the clear. When it comes to our character build, starting off with our Elation team, with SPARXIE, or even our fire units. I don't have any fire 5 stars on this account, so I don't know where they are normally. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, so basically base speed, 88 crit rate, which will go up to 100 thanks to EZMO, 157 crit damage, which will go to over 300, S5 of the F2P Elation Lycon traces maxed out. For our relics, we have double crit, crit rate with crit damage, these insane attack bits with double crit. We love to see this, 37 CV here basically, and then EZMO, decent piece here, and then a pretty bad one here, but oh well, what can we do? At least it gets our crit to 100%, I guess. Eidolon's E0, also I know EZMO isn't ideal, but it's the best I have right now, unfortunately, so yeah, anyway, when it comes to our Yaoguang, 160 speed, 82% crit rate, which will become 100% in battle, 72% crit damage, which will go to, I believe it was 200-ish in battle, Light Cone, S1 of the Elation Light Cone traces maxed out, relics, we have speed with just as much crit rate as we can get, speed with double crit here, and then more speed and crit rate as well as here, but we do also have ERR rope, and then Eidolons, once again, E0, I think I showed off it for SPARXIE, but we'll just go ahead and do that again. Now when it comes to our Sparkle, 160 speed, 193 crit damage, don't have an S5 DDD on her, and we also don't hit speed thresholds for it, unfortunately. Although, actually I could have put the DDD on her because we weren't using Tribby, and we did get that speed buff, so actually that could have been helpful. That probably could have sped up our clear a little bit. Trace is basically maxed out, 2-piece Sacrados, 2-piece speed, just so that we can get the 160 speed, and then also Lushaka, buff our SPARXIE up a bit more. Eidolons, E0. Then when it comes to our done Heng PT, there we go. 142 speed, 3.2k attack on our highest base attack Lightcon. Traces maxed out, relics on the shielder set, give a bit of crit damage to our SPARXIE. Penacony not very useful, I should have him on Lushaka, but I don't have enough pieces for that, unfortunately. E0 as well. When it comes to our dot team, I almost forgot what the second team was. For our Hysilens, it's 3.3k attack, 135 speed. S4, Eyes of the Prey, Traces, basically maxed out. Relics, a dot set as well, along with the Revelry by the Sea set. Eidolon's E0. When it comes to our Black Swan, 3.4k attack, base speed, along with 120 HR. We also have 120 HR on our Hysilens. I don't remember if I showed that off. I have very short-term memory right now. S1, Eyes of the Prey, Traces, maxed out. Relics, mostly maxed out. Well, actually, no, maxed out. It's just we could change this to the Revelry one, but we don't have that right now, so unfortunately we can't. E0 as well. When it comes to our Kafka, 3k attack, 163 speed. We also have over 80 EHR. S5 tutorial light cone as well. Traces maxed out. 2p speed, so that we can once again hit that 160. I do not have a win set for my Kafka, unfortunately, but we do have Lushaka to buff up our Black Swan, because she is now the main damage dealer in the dot team, surprisingly. Well, not surprising, but it's definitely a change from before. E0, then our Hyacine, 5k HP, over 200 speed, nearly 100 crit damage, but her damage doesn't matter that much in this team. Lightcone S5, Remembrance, Lightcone Traces maxed out. Warrior Goddess set doesn't help us in the dot team. Giant Tree, Best in Slot, Plain Enrollment set, and then Eidolon's E0. So yeah, that's it for our character builds. Let me know how you guys found this Pure Fiction and your thoughts on it. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time. See ya.